Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, thank you for jumping on the call. I'm actually going to be posting this video on my YouTube channel too, only because I don't really have time this week to go and prepare a new video specifically for the channel to give the update. So I think this video will be good enough for now, just to get people up to speed with the updates on the DTB system. So I'm just showing the initial slide that I normally do. So for those familiar with the DTB system, we've got quite a host of indicators and automated strategies that we've been working on for quite a few years now, actually, and just designed to really help you decide or help you see where price is going and help you get optimized settings for strategies. So there is a risk disclaimer for trading. We trade futures trading. So there'll also be a link to that in the video. All right, so let me jump straight through to the VPS so we can see what is happening on there. Just give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, perfect. All right, so where do I start? I just want to make sure that this is streaming correctly to everywhere where it should be going. So let me just confirm that. Just one moment. Stupid thing. Okay, I'm sure it is. I'll just quickly minimize. Yes, it is. Okay, that is fine. And maximize. Okay, so let's see. So with regards to the indicators, so the recent updates to indicators on the system is basically covered. I know I've made a video on the Fibonacci level, so I'm not going to go into that at all. So the updates start coming with the momentum bars. Okay, so that's one of the first ones. High-lows is an addition that you can look at on your own. Oh, the high-low, well, let's quickly look at it. The high-low is an indicator that basically has a moving average period look back, or it has a moving average value. And what you can basically do is you can adjust the value of it, and it's supposed to have a bar delay. Let me just have a quick look at this. Okay, no, the strategy has, which I shouldn't even mention, so that's okay. Let's leave the high-low for right now. Okay, there's actually an automated strategy linked to this indicator, which I haven't put in here, but we'll go through that at another stage. I don't want to overwhelm people too much. So let's go back to the indicator list. All right, so momentum bars. So as you would know, the momentum bars has a setting A and a B, and you're able to actually run the strategy that it's associated with through the strategy analyzer, and you're able to get settings, basically optimize settings for a strategy. Now, the momentum bar continuous is taking those same settings, those same A and B settings, but splitting them up into different slots throughout the day. So there's up to 10 slots that you can select, and each slot has a specific time. So you can basically optimize certain values of the day, and you can choose which slots you want to trade. So that's, over and above the trading hours. You can basically select specific slots of the day and then have trading hours within those slots. So that's momentum bars. We have a few different options or a few different variants of the shadow trading. Our first shadow trading indicator in the list is the one that's directly linked to the automated strategy. So that one, you're going to notice it's got a few more little lines on it and a few more little details on it to actually show a different, to show the plots for the buy and the sell arrows. So you'll notice it's got arrows up and arrows down. Those plots are actually, if I just reset this, they should come up. Yep. So they're basically going to show plots of where those arrows are taking place. So as soon as the cyan arrow crosses below the red, it's going to be a red arrow. So that's what that one is used for. So you don't have to use that specific one on your chart. Or if you do, you can just remove the plots for the arrows if you don't want to see those. It's just to make less lines on the chart. What we do have to do, though, is once you have loaded the automated strategy that's attached to the shadow trading, is you can load the indicator on separately so you can see where the buy and sells are taking place. So that's the first value of that. The second, the shadow trading divergence, we've covered before. The next one is the shadow trading zero line. So this one here is just displaying price a little bit differently to the other one, in that it is showing a specific coloring of the bars once the price closes above the zero line. So the zero line is this figure over here. So you see this 0.37, 0.81, this value here. As long as this stays in plus, these bars are going to paint green. As soon as this value goes to minus or to I think it's red, these bars are going to paint red. So that is basically used to determine the exact point where the buyers and sellers are crossing over. So at that zero line is where the buyers and sellers are really struggling to determine where the price is going to go. And you'll find that often the price will just bounce around this area, that area. So if I just go, you'll find that in those areas where there's a struggle between the buyers and sellers, there's going to be a little bit of a price hiccup, basically. And then once it finds direction, it's going to run. And you'll often find that to be the case. Okay, so that is that one, and you can just increase the size of the screen like that. You can also use this indicator with center price on scale. So that is something that you can do with this indicator. If I go to my data series and I just center price on scale, that's fine. So what also happens over here is as soon as this momentum line crosses below price, the bars are going to go red. And as soon as it comes above, it's going to paint green. So that's also another way of seeing who's in control of the price. So you'll see that momentum line switched above and below price as it's going. So you'll see that, like the sellers were in control of the price. And we'll just use one of the trend ones. So you'll see there the sellers are in control of the price. We're starting to get some divergences here. The momentum line is starting to come a lot closer to price. And over here is when it really crosses over price. So a bit of a delay over here, but this is where it's right with the price and it's well over the price now. The buyers are in control of the price. As long as that momentum line stays above, the chance of the price going up is higher than coming down, and then so on. So you're going to notice it's going to come close and it's going to cross and go over and above. So that's what you're going to notice. It's a bit jumps all over the place on a smaller bar size like this, but it's a good way to determine of which direction is more than likely the price is going to be going. It does help with a larger bar chart, and you could even use this on a minute chart. So whatever values that you are working on, you can certainly use this for that too, and that's going to show you just a good indication of where price is more, or who's in control of the price. Okay, so indicators. Let's go back to that. So that was the shadow trading zero line. Okay, so the SI indicator, that's the one linked to the analytical strategy one. So this one here also has the A and B settings, similar to the momentum bars. Now, what this one does is it works on repaints. So there's a key difference between the SI indicator and the momentum bars indicator. So I'll put them both over here to show you the difference. So even though the momentum bars and the SI indicator have a setting A and a setting B, the SI indicator works on repaint. So as soon as a price crosses over that brick wall, it's going to change color, and that's going to count as a signal. And if the price drops below, it's going to repaint, it's going to change the color. And depending on a few other things like volume profile and time and sales, it's going to depend whether that signal is going to change. And if it crosses over again, it's going to repaint it again. So sometimes you can get 2 or 3 signals in a row in the same direction if that price is bouncing around those brick walls. So those count as repaint. So just basically changing the color of the brick wall as it's crossing through, and you can get multiple signals in one direction. With the momentum bars, what happens is as soon as the price gets to a brick wall, it's going to paint and it's going to do an arrow. If it's arrow up, it's a signal to buy. If it's an arrow down, it's a signal to sell. So it's either going to be up or down. So you're not going to be able to have multiple entries per direction on the momentum bars strategy, or the strategy linked to this, because it's only got an arrow up and an arrow down. So they are coded very differently to each other, but still produce exceptional results. So that is the main difference between those two, and why I've got both of them in there. Let's just pop that off. Let's go to, okay, we've already discussed the ultimate band. So the ultimate bands, we have, it's got the shading on the chart, which just basically channels the price. And I've also got an ultimate bands OG. So what I've done with the ultimate bands, this is the original one that I initially started. It's only got the lines, and these ones here, you're able to select in the strategy builder. So you're able to select those values of these specific lines in the strategy builder. That's why I've just included this one for now, instead of spending time and recoding this one to include those plots. I just didn't have time to do that. And then the rest of the indicators we have covered in detail before and have been around for a while. So we'll jump off the indicators for now. Let's have a look at the automated strategies. Okay, so let's have a look at the first one. Okay, so advanced retracement strategy. So I've gone and updated most of the strategies in the list. And what I've done with them is I've included specific trading days of the week that you can choose. So you'll notice now that you can still use, it's got the retracement value, you can still trade trend or reverse, but now you're able to choose a specific day of the week. So you can choose, if you only want to see Wednesday's results. So you want the strategy to only trade on a Wednesday, and you enable it. I'm just going to use the default settings as an example. So it's going to plot all of the, I've got a short target on there. Let's just go, that's a 15-minute chart. Let's go to just a normal DTB bars 10-10 chart, where it will be a bit more closer to read. Let's see. Okay, so data series. So here we go. So I've basically got the strategy only active on a Wednesday. So what you'll notice now is if you go to strategy performance, real time and historical, and you bring that up, it's going to show you the analysis and day of week. You'll notice it's only Wednesday. So only Wednesday's trades will be on that chart. So you no longer have to go and choose specifically your trading hours template. You can use instrument settings in your optimization and on your trading chart. And what will happen is it will only, choosing your specific day of the week will give you only those trades of the week. And the great thing too is that on all of the strategies, you can go into the, so this one was the advanced retracement strategy. You can actually go and optimize the value. So you can run your optimizations. So let's just go between 80 and 100 in increments of 10. We'll just do a very quick one here. And we only want to optimize Wednesday's data. So we only tick the box for Wednesday. And you can also use your trading time. So this is where you can also use your time slots. So if you only want to trade between 3 a.m. and 8 a.m. as an example. So as you're going through all your settings for your optimization, the only difference is now it's your specific day of the week. So we've got the Wednesday selected. I've got a time slot selected, which is 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. I'm just going to choose the DTB bars over here. on a 10 and a 10. And let's just do the last week. It should go very quickly. Up until now, including commission, slippage. So the slippage that is in this analyzer, it's really the spread between the bid and the ask. So whatever the bid and the ask is between the spread or between the bid and the ask, put that in there as a minimum. So that's going to give you the closest values to real-time trading. So that was just a very short one, and it's given those, so that's the specific time, so half hour of day. It's only trading between the hours that are selected, which is 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. These are the entry times. So there we go, 4:35, and it's the last one entered at 6. So if you go to the chart, that's what you're going to notice on the chart. It's going to show all the data, and then it's only going to show the trades that were entered, you know, between that very specific time. And this one even had a target. You don't have to use the target. You can also use a trailing stop on this. So you can go and deactivate the trailing stop and just run, you know, normal targets and stuff like that. And that's going to be in there. So just bear in mind with this, you know, if you're going to use the trading hours like the times that we have had now, when you're using the trading hours, so you've got your time slot. So when you're using the time slot on your strategy over here, it's going to exit at the end of that slot. Okay, so it's worth mentioning too that even if you select Wednesday on here, the trades will all enter on a Wednesday, but if you haven't selected your specific time slot and you run this, you're going to find that the trades are going to exit on the Thursday, because obviously we're running from, you know, the PM to AM in the US. So if I look back at the analysis and I look at the exit time on this, or exit even the day of week, you're going to see 2 days there because the trades entered on a Wednesday and some of them closed on a Thursday because that's the end of session close. So it's very important to be able to work out when your trades are entering, but then also decide what your specific hours that you are going to be trading is going to be too. Okay, so that's how that works. And even those results even came up as a bit higher, even though the drawdown was more. But you're going to find that if I scroll back to the actual entries, you know, it's entering between those very specific times of the day, and then exiting on session close. Buying the next day. So there's your 8 p.m. you see. So there's the next day. So that'll be the following day, and then it's going to exit on session close. So that is the thing you got to watch out for, is between your end of your day that you've selected and the next trading day, those trades will basically be unmanaged because you haven't actually selected to trade that specific day. You see, so you'll see that the next day is the 25th. Let me just see. So the 25th would have been the Thursday. We only selected to trade on a Wednesday. So it's only going to enter trades in the Wednesday. But if you're not using a specific time slot that you want to trade between, the trade that opened on the Wednesday will actually only close at the session close. So bear that in mind when you're doing your optimizations. Get in the habit of using specific trading hours. So this type of thing could never happen where you've got, you know, trades entering in a specific day where you want them to enter, but you also want to make sure that you are within the specific slots that, you know, the trading times that you have selected. So in that case, what will happen is it will enter and exit, and it will exit at the end of your specific trading hours. You can make that trading hours, you know, 4 p.m. I mean, it's not like you can go and make that as a later hour in on that specific day. But it's just worth knowing, worth mentioning that that is what you actually want to do. So like that one there, it's traded up until 4 p.m. and then session closes only a few bars later, and that's the end of the day. So that's a good thing to understand with all the strategies and using these specific trading days. But you guys knew that already. So I just, excuse me, want to reiterate that for new members. I should not deactivate my video because it's hiding some of the screen. Apologies for that. So we were looking at the advanced retracement strategy. Okay, so the next one to quickly look at is the advanced strategy line. I don't know why it's further down the list because it's supposed to be second on the list. But the same thing over here. We'll go to a chart first. So you can go to your trading chart and you can say, let's just go on here. We can say, okay, well, let's only trade, remove this one. So the strategy line, strategy, which is over here. Advanced retracement. See, it's in order over here, but for some reason in the optimizer, it's not in order. Okay, so the advanced retracement strategy, if we just select default values, and we can do the same thing, we can just choose Wednesday's data. We could choose Wednesday, and we could choose our specific time slots. And there we go. So that's what that's going to do, is it's going to give us the strategy line values, and it's only going to enter trades on that Wednesday. So there is Wednesday, the start of Wednesday. That's the first signal on the Wednesday. So you'll find that the strategy line will be in a position from a previous signal, but as soon as the first signal comes into play on that specific day, it's going to basically start entering positions, and again up until your trading hours. So if we go back to the strategy settings, and I just disable this momentarily, so you can specifically choose in here your time to trade. So if you're only trading Wednesday, so you want to trade from 12 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. Okay, so that's basically going to cover the Wednesday's specific data. And you can choose that in there, apply, and okay. And that's going to show you all the trades that happen between that specific, and this is just default settings. We haven't optimized this. So again, this strategy can be put through the strategy analyzer, where you can select your very specific values to optimize. So you can go in here and you can choose your values to go and optimize, which are the sensitivity and the confirmation bars. So confirmation bars is how many bars after the price crosses over the line will it enter a position. So if I just go back in here and I enable this, there we go. So that's going to paint those signals, those entries up until the end of the trading session that you've selected. We selected 4:45, so it's going to exit there at the end of that bar, and then there's the beginning of the new trading day. Okay, so that is that one. If you wanted to combine two trading days on here, you can certainly do that. You just need to, I've noticed that there's one slot on here. So if you want to combine, if you want to trade two specific days, you'll just need to do it on two separate charts for this one, because we've only got the the one time slot on there. But most of you guys are trading, the US anyway, or you're trading the Asian session from 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. to midnight, and you can just have that on a separate chart. Okay, so let's switch over now to the next strategy. So the next one we can cover is the analytical strategy 1. So this analytical strategy 1 is the strategy that uses the SI indicator that we briefly looked at earlier. So it's got the setting A and the setting B in here. Again, you can just go and choose specific days of the week. So I'm going to go, for example, I'm going to go here between Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm going to get the results for Tuesday and Wednesday. And let's go and we can use the specific time slots to trade. And let's take off the trailing stop. And let's just make this a 4 and a 4. So setting A 4, setting B 4, just settings that generally work. And apply that. And that gives the results for that period. So you'll see that only that specific day of the week was traded, or those 2 specific days, starting from the 24th. So the first signal on that trading day, the first signal on the Tuesday, to all the way up until, that Wednesday, which is over here outside of the trading hours. So if we go to strategy performance and I go to real time and historical, that's going to show you, if you've remember to always load your commissions in there, it's going to be in there. But if you go to the analysis, you'll see that it's got the specific days of the week. The entry times are going to be there, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And we've gone and selected specific hours. So we've only selected between, what do we select in the settings? If I'm not mistaken, it was between 1 a.m. and 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. So it's only very specific hours of the day where they're entering. And that is what's going to be showing up in your analyzer, on your results. So so exactly what has happened to this strategy here, the analytical strategy 1 with the days of the week, the same thing has happened with the continuous one. So again, you guys who have been doing your optimizations, you can go and select your specific days of the week, put in your hours. So it's pretty much the same as what you've done before. It's just now you've got the extra little tick boxes to choose your specific days of the week. The next strategy that I wanted to cover was the analytical strategy 2. So the analytical strategy 2 is the one that is using the momentum bars indicator. So this is the one with the arrows on it. So if you remember, I'll just activate this on the chart. I'm not sure what this one is. I think this is all days of the week. Okay, so this one's got the arrows. As soon as those arrows change color, it's going to be entering signals and so forth. Okay. So this strategy here, okay, I've designed this strategy. It was a little bit by accident, not 100% intentional, but this specific strategy, instead of it having a daily target and stop, it's got a strategy target and stop. So what this means is that it's more designed for continuous trading over a longer period of time. So you can still select your specific hours of the day, but when you select your specific target and stop, you can use those values and the strategy will exit when one of those are hit. So it could be over one day, could be over multiple days, could be over a whole week. The strategy will trade up until one of those values are hit. So whatever value you've got in there, the strategy will pause at that specific stage. So if you want to test this out, you can run it on playback, put in a value there, and you'll notice that the strategy just continually trades from day one or from day to day, and it will only exit once those values are hit. So that's a little bit different to the other strategies where it's got a daily profit target. So naturally, you could still select a value in over here that you can make it your daily target, or you can make it a value that will hit during the day. So whether it's, you know, $500 or whatever, you can actually put that in there, and then your daily stop, whatever that is, it will still exit at that value once that's been hit. So the same will apply to the Analytical Strategy 2 Continuous, which has also got that same thing for the strategy values. With regards to the analyzer, that can also still be put through, you can still put the Analytical Strategy 2 and that through here, selecting your specific days again, optimizing your arrow, your setting A and your setting B. So that's all the same, just with that extra benefit of the days. The Analytical Strategy 2, I've just renamed some of these. Yes, I've called it setting A slot 1, setting B slot 1, and setting C slot 1. So it's just a little bit easier to read the slots. Slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, and this is where you're able to go and choose. So your setting A will be your first one in the list. Setting B will be the second one. The setting 3 is your arrow count. So generally, you're going to have a switch over of arrows between 1 and 5. So that's why you can optimize between 1 and 5 over here. I've put the minimum values or the recommended minimum values in there too. So it just helps you running optimization on here. You don't have to go and do huge values in here, especially when you're optimizing an entire, you know, a day's performance where you are splitting up the day. So you're optimizing each specific slot of the day, and that's going to basically represent in there. So if I just run a very quick optimization over here, let's just see, do I have a template? Let me just see, template load. Okay, nothing in there. I'll just run a very quick optimization over here on this one. Let's see what this looks like. So again, only choosing, like, let's choose the Wednesday again. It seems to be pretty good. So Wednesday, and let's go between the specific time slots, which is fine. I'm going to optimize. Let's optimize slot 7. I'm just going to go 1 to 5, and I'm going to go 1 to 20. Let's just run this and just see what this looks like and how long it's going to take. So this is only a small amount of values. It's 1 to 100. You'll notice the optimization is pretty quick on these. Just select your values that you want to optimize on, and that's just going to give you, you know, your optimized setting. So we've only gone and optimized this slot over here, you see. So we've only gone and optimized this slot. So if you want to, so once you've done your first optimization like that, and we can also just check the day of the week. Let's just, while we're here, let's just make sure that the day of the week was right. Yes. So there's our entry time as only the day of the week. Let's have a look at the analysis again for the half hour of the day. So once you've run your first optimization, like we've just done now, go and put the value in there. So the result came out as a 4. So the best setting between 1 and 5 was a 4. So I'm going to put a 4 in there. And for setting B, the best one that came out was a 10. So I'm going to put 10 in there. 10 and 10. So that, and then slot C, for slot 7, we didn't optimize. So we'll leave that as 2. But then going to slot 8. So slot 8 is this next time slot from 10 a.m. So if you scroll down, you're going to notice that slot 8 is going to start at 10 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. So it's a 2-hour window. So this is where you can optimize slot 8. So I'll just do the same thing there between 1 and 5, and I'll do 1 and 20, and then run that. I wonder if I should do this one here. I might just leave this as 2. You can also optimize this. So that'll give you 100 values as well. And that'll come up. So now what that's done now is that's optimized the next slot. So you can basically go through the entire day and optimize different periods of the day over a period of time. Now we've only done 1 week, so it's only going to give that specific day's data because we're only doing 1 week of data. And that's how, you basically get your optimized settings. So, a lot of you guys, or some of you guys, are in dedicated little Skype chat groups where you are sharing templates and things like this for these optimizations. So once they're saved in there, and that they're being shared, and then you can use that template on different machines. So a question, what does 1 to 5 mean? Okay, so the setting A, so setting A and setting B, those are basically trade secrets of what they entail. All you have to know is that the setting A can go, you can go from 1 to 20 is a good value, or even 1 to 15. And the setting B it's got a time filter in there too. So it's working out what is happening on the first setting over a period of time, and then it's making a decision on trades. And the third setting, which is setting C, is the arrow count. So that's how many times those specific signals on that chart are switching over. So when that there's the arrow count. So number 5, the slot C, the arrow 1 to 5 is how many times that arrow changes direction and then decides whether it's going to enter a position or not. So that is what that is looking at. So that is that. So once you've gone and you've applied your templates like this, I can go template, and I can go, let me just see what I've done here. I'll apply it. I'll just go put this on a chart so you can see how this is actually done for those who haven't worked much with the optimizations. So as an example, say that we've done optimization for all those values, okay, for all the slots, and we've come up with the best settings. We can now go to template, and we can go save, and we can call it NQ. It's a 10 bar, and we've got, it was Wednesday, right? Wednesday. And then you can go like that. And then what you can do is you can go bring up your trading chart over here. You can go to strategies. You can go to your strategy that you just optimized, which in this case is the Analytical Strategy 2 Continuous. Okay. These will be default settings. Now you can go to your template. You can go load. You can choose the template that you just created. That template that you just created is going to have all the pre-filled trading hours that we selected specific trading hours, or they were in there already. So it's got the trading hours in there. It's obvious, it's pre-filled the Wednesday slot. It's gone and pre-filled all those setting A and B's and C's in there. Some of them, obviously, we've optimized, some we haven't. But, once you've optimized them all, they'll be there. It'll pre-fill all your times. So you don't have to go and fill up all these settings. And once you've got all of those settings in play and you've chosen your account, you can go and click on apply. And the strategy will be there, and it will show you those specific trades for that specific day, those specific hours, and then you can use that going forward. Obviously, we only did this last week of optimization, but if you're doing much larger periods, so the cool thing about this now is you can say, I want to optimize, the best settings for a Wednesday over the last, let's go, since over the whole month, and then you can run that. It's gonna come up with this. So now remember, we haven't optimized an entire month's worth of data. We've only optimized basically 1 day's worth of data between certain periods of the day. So once you go and select a much larger period to trade like this, it's going to come up with more value. So if you look at this now, this has come up with settings. Now, remember, these are not optimized settings because we haven't optimized anything with the new dates, but this is a good starting point. So you can go to your analysis and you can go to your daily. So this is going to show the specific days of the week, you see. So that there, if we go to day of week, it's going to show you that it's only Wednesday. So there, over the course of the last month, on Wednesdays, these specific settings enter 297 trades on a Wednesday. And if you go to the half hour of day, it's going to tell you those are the days. So just like we did on the last optimization, you can review this and say, okay, well, let's see what needs work. Which slot needs work? Okay, well, let's go and optimize this slot over here, which is 2:30 to 4 p.m., which is again slot number 8. And you can go and optimize these values. So you can go 1 to 5. Oh, we just did that. Okay, well, let's have a look at slot 9 as an example. And remember, once you've done once you've done the slot, just go and fill in those values over there. So 4 and 4 over there, and I'm going to just put the 2 so we can go and optimize the next slot. Now, obviously, the larger values that you are optimizing in here. So, like if you want to go between 1 and 20, or so actually 1 and 15 is okay for slot A. The slot B, you can go anywhere between 1 and 40. I'm just going to go 1 and let's go 1 and 30 over here, and let's do between 1 and 5 over here. Let's just see how long this specific one takes to run. So, you know, the bigger values that you put in here, it's going to increase the amount of time that it takes to do the optimization. But if you're doing a much larger period of time, like you're doing the last few months worth of data, it's worth it to go and optimize which settings specifically worked during those specific slots of the day, that time of the day, so that it's worth putting in the time to find out the best results. And I'll just let this one run. Actually, I might just, in order to save a little bit of time, I might just reduce this a little bit. So just give this 1 second. I'm just going to go, I'm just going to make this 1 to 10, and I'm going to make this 1 to 3. It's not going to give us the absolute best settings, but it's just going to reduce the time that this optimization is going to take. And you'll get the picture of what this is. Okay. So how often do we run optimizations during the session? So it all depends on how large your slot is. So you've got your slot settings over here. Okay, so you got your slot settings, but you've also got settings for how big those slots are. So you can choose which slot you want to use, first of all, and then you can choose what length each of those slots are. So if you can have a slot starting from, you can have one slot starting from 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. up until midnight. That's one slot. And you can have another slot from midnight to 4 a.m. That's slot 2. And then you can have another slot from 4 till 9. And then from 10 till 4. So you can have different size slots. And the wider the slot that you have, the more you can optimize it during a trading session. So while the strategy is trading, you can run the optimization during that specific slot to see if there's any better settings that the analyzer is giving you to apply to your strategy that you have on the chart. So that is what you would do with that. Let's just run this. So like that, it's got a little bit better. You see, every time you run optimization, it slightly increases the results. And all you got to do is go and find your ones that are giving you, you know, the settings that aren't effective, and then rerun the optimization for those slots. And then you eventually you're going to get settings on here that's going to give you a decent drawdown with a profit that is not out of whack. And then you can go and you can look at your analysis for daily again. And it's going to tell you which trades entered for which values and so on and so forth. So good way to split up the optimizations. I don't want to go too much into detail regarding specific optimizations. I'll do that in one of the next videos where we're going to dedicate, I'm going to dedicate one complete video just to doing a complete optimization for the analytical strategies. So we'll do the analytical 1 continuous and the 2 continuous, and I'll split them up into different videos where we've got very, very specific details on how all the optimization works, how to run them, and then even during the specific time of the day, we can rerun those optimizations. So if you're running optimizations up until current price and you are trading today's data as an example, so if I go and just choose Sunday as an example, if I go and choose Sunday's data, what that's going to do is it's going to optimize all the data for a Sunday. And because we are now on Sunday's time, it's going to optimize. Is it, did I choose today's date? That's the question. I've got to check. I've got 27th. I've got to just change this. So I'm just going to abort this for a second. So because the end date is 27, I just got to make this end date as the 30th. And then what this will do is this will optimize right up until current price. So it's going to do from the 31st of October up until now, which is current price. Now, again, we've just changed the day of the week. So all these previous optimizations may actually be invalid because we're only really looking at slot 1 because that slot 1 and 2, because slot 1 and 2 is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and 9 p.m. to midnight. So when you're running optimization now, you only really have to run these 2 slots because those are the only slots that you are actually trading when you selected Sunday. You see? So let this just complete and then we'll change the settings for Sunday. So by optimizing slot 9, selecting, it's not actually benefiting us because we optimized the wrong slot. But then I did go and change to Sunday the last second. So we'll just quickly run through that. So like this as an example, this is the price right now of the instrument. So if you were to go to your chart now, this is exactly what the price would be right now. So by you going and optimizing to today's data, so I'm just going to go this now. I'm going to just put this back like it was. So for slot 9, I'm just going to put these values in there. So very important to put the values as the minimum maximum because NinjaTrader doesn't like it when you are optimizing multiple variables. As soon as you try and optimize more than one slot, it's going to give you like a million iterations, which is a bit ridiculous. So we can run, for example, slot number 1 now, which is the time that we're in right now. You see, so you can go, so we'll just go 1 to 5, 1 to 5, and then 1 to, let's just go 20. And I want to try and save time, so I'm just going to do 2 on here. Again, it's good to try and do slightly more values. This should only be 100, which will be very quick. Okay, so let's just see what this comes up as. Okay, so the results have got slightly better. So if you're looking at the analysis, and okay, these are the specific days. Okay, so what this is basically saying that so far today, the strategy would have entered 3 positions based on the settings. So if you look at the chart, let's just go to the chart. So from the beginning, so running optimization, because we're running optimization now, it is showing us what has worked since the beginning of the session, but also over the whole month. And today, the settings of today are so far better than the previous days of the month. So like I'll just go and put this in here, like a 3 and a 3 and a 2 and a 2, like this. And then what I'm going to go do over here is, so we've selected Sunday. You know, you can also go and disable the rest of the slots here. So if you want to save a specific template and you want to only have Sunday's data, so let's just be very simple on this one, and we can choose all of these other slots as false, like this, and we're only choosing the 2 slots, which is slot 1 and slot 2, which the first slot starts at 6:05 p.m., ends at 9. Second slot starts at 9, ends at midnight. So those are the only 2 slots that we are going to have in there. And we've also got our trading hours. So obviously we don't have to select slot number 1 because slot 2 is true. And slot 2 starts at 6:15 p.m. and trades up to 11:59 p.m. So it'll only enter positions between that period, and all open trades will exit at the end of that period. So this is how, so if you guys want to trade on a Sunday night and you want to trade a specific time like we're doing here, which is only the Asian session from 6:15 p.m. New York to 11:59 p.m. and it's only covering 2 slots, this is what you can do. And then you can basically go back excuse me, any period that you want. So if you want to even go back, if you want to go back to the 9th or even the 8th month, and you want to run your optimization specifically for that period. Now, if I go and do that now, it's actually will take a bit longer, but maybe it's worth it just to do that, just to see if it will come up with some, some results. Let's just see how long it takes. I will do another short period just to get this one into there. Let's just run this. So I'm only doing 1 to 5, 1 to 20. Okay, it's going to load up all that previous data though, so it might take a while to start. But also, once you've done this the first time, once you've selected your date range, it's basically stored all that data, so it'll be able to reuse that data again. Okay, so how do you run for a longer time, like 4 to 5 months continuous? Yeah, so the same way you would do here, the exact same way you would do here. You would have all your slots, you would have all your times, your trading hours, and then you would select all the days of the week. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, select all of those days, and then start by, change your date. So you can start from 4 or 5 months back in your analyzer. So you've got, I don't want to click on your NinjaTrader loves it when you click on things when you're running an optimization. But basically what you can do is you can choose your specific times that you want to optimize. So like as an example over here, we have run, I'm going to put these settings in here. Okay. So 2. So as soon as you've done an optimization like we've done over here, put the values in here. So there's a 2 and a 2 and an 8 and an 8. And remember, we've only selected 2. So we definitely wouldn't have the best results for this period because we haven't actually even optimized the arrow count. We've just selected 2. Okay, so what we're seeing over here aren't the absolute best results at all. But it's good just to see what this limited optimization that we've done has brought up. So this is where you go into your analysis and there's your specific days of week. So using these very specific settings that we've got on the chart right now, those have been the daily results of these settings. So if I go and save this now, excuse me. So like as an example, like that's daily. So if you look at all these days, you will notice that they're all going to be on a Sunday, okay, because we've selected Sunday. We got the entry times, they're all entering between 6 p.m. and midnight. That's the only times that they're entering. Now remember, we've only optimized 6 to 9. You can see from 10 onwards, we haven't optimized. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to optimize setting slot number 2. So slot number 2 is going to be this period over here. So let's quickly do that. Again, I'm just going to use a smaller range. Okay, 1 to 5, and I'm going to do 1 to 20. And I'm going to leave this as 2 again. So hang on, your current trades are showing positive results, but how do you optimize when your current trades are in negative? So when you're running, so you'll run your optimization. And if your optimization is showing you that the best settings are different to the ones that you've got on your trading chart, then you've got to pause that strategy and load up the settings that the analyzer has given you. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So there's the best settings according to my limited range of optimizations that I've chosen here. So I've done a 3. The best settings have come up as setting A as a 3, setting B as a 15. So I'm going to go 15 over here and 15 over there, and we've still only got 2. But now that I've got that, I'm going to go template, and I'm going to go save, and I'm going to call this NQ 1010, and I'm going to call this Sunday. Okay, so Sunday, and I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to open up a trading chart. Okay, so looking at the trading chart, I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go first of all to my strategies. I'm going to disable this one. Okay, let's just go disable like this, apply. Then I'm going to go template, and I'm going to go load, and I'm going to go choose Sundays details. Again, that's going to pre-populate everything. So as you've noticed, we've got Sunday selected, and we've got slot 1 and slot 2 selected according to the optimization that we saved, the template. There's the values in slot 1 and 2 that it's got in there. It will still show you the rest of the slots, but we haven't selected them, so don't worry too much about that. And then we're going to enable, apply, and OK. So now this specifically is showing, because we've got on this chart, we've got only the last 5 days. So if I go and choose that custom range between the, let's just go, we selected that range at what was it, 20? I think it was 20 there. Okay, so these are basically the settings that the optimizer has given us. So if you had to go and say you were activating this for today's trading day, so you would go, so according to the optimizer, if we're looking at this, now remember, we still haven't, we've done, you know, we've done a limited amount of optimizations. So you can still go and look at that now daily. So if you're selecting these specific results, you can filter through these results that the analyzer is giving you, and you can see, okay, which ones have actually made profit over the last couple of days or the last trade. So all of these made initial gains in the beginning, but the last few trading days have actually been negative days. So you wouldn't actually be running this specific settings. Now you're not going to get this very frequently, You're not going to get this very often where the last days have been losing positions. And in fact, if you had to do better optimization, you'll get better results anyway. But going and choosing a specific set of results, like none of these are actually showing as being effective right now. But you know, if you're optimizing and you've got the previous day showing green like that, if you go and activate those settings for the following trading day, you're either going to have, you know, the continuation like this, like we had over here, or you're going to have a losing day. I mean, at any time, any of these strategies can have a losing day. So that is exactly what you're going to be experiencing with any optimization on any strategy. So we just went on the first one over there. So you would also look at this. So there's quite a big thing to actually do is going into your optimization and analyzing all the data to see which strategy do you actually want to activate on your chart. So by these optimizations that we've done over here are not showing very favorable results for the last few days. So what we can say, well, let's go and exclude these days here, because these days, obviously the whole market has changed. And we know that up until last week, the market was in a pretty steady momentum. Last week, the previous few weeks have been a complete shit show with all the stuff happening. So these specific settings that have worked very well have now tapered off. So now you can say, well, instead of optimizing all the way from the 24th, I'm going to optimize from the 31st of October up until now. So it's a month's worth of data. So what has worked well over the last 4 Sundays? So the previous 4 Sundays, what has been most effective? So then you go and do that. So, you know, often you'll be able to do optimization like this, and you'll get all of these days profitable. Then you can just go and use those settings. Or you can go and review the data further, like we're doing over here, and say, well, I don't want to know what happened back here, because obviously there's been a change in the market momentum. So I only want to see what has worked over the last trading month instead. So then you say, okay, fine. So let's go to the actual trading month that we're in right now. And that will be the 31st of October, which is from here. What has worked since then? Okay, so now we can run optimization for that, and you can go back over here and you can go to your slot 1 and you can start over there. Okay, so I'm going to go slot 1 to 5 like this, and slot B, I'm going to go 1 to 20, and let's just do 1 to 3. Let's just see if that takes if it increases it too much. So you can do this optimization before the trading day even starts. So if you're planning on trading on a Sunday, as an example, you can do this optimization days and days before, okay? Days and days before, in preparation for that specific day. Okay, and then you can also exclude the results from this specific trading day. So because the day hasn't happened yet, if you're doing the optimization before, you can actually go up until the end of the previous week. So you want to run optimization on what has worked for the month so far, okay? And then see what can be applied going forward. So this is what you're looking at now. So we've done the first one, excuse me. And remember, we're still doing a very small sample of data over here. So we covered this a bit on our live trading sessions too, where we optimized, you know, very specific times of the day in our sessions. This is just going into a little bit more detail because we're using a different strategy over here with more details in it. But we'll just pop them in here anyway. And 20, and I will increase this from 1 to 5 because it looks like it's running pretty fast. So that's 500 results that is coming up. So now we're just increasing the amount of iterations. We're slightly increasing the width of what we're analyzing. And this is what you would actually be doing when you want to analyze a period very, very well. You want to be able to increase the actual range of your settings to find the best results. So it's a 3 and a 3 and a 12 and 12 and a 1. Okay, so this is showing us now the last 4 trading days, the last 4 Sundays previous to today, what has been effective. And then you can filter through these results, and these results aren't looking crash hot. I mean, it's not a very active trading session anyway. You know, we've got a 10-10 bar, so you can filter through these results and you can choose a very specific setting over here to save and then apply to a trading chart. Now, like, you know, I'm reluctant to put any of these. I mean, personally, I wouldn't select any of these, but let's just go and select this top one anyway. Okay, so I'm going to go to this one over here. I'm going to go template, and I'm going to go save, and I'm going to call this Sunday again. I'm going to just put a 1 next to it. All right. And now I'm going to go from the custom range. I'm just going to make this as days 0. Okay. So what this is going to do is this is only going to show me today's data. Okay. So if I go to strategies and I deactivate this one like this, and then I go template, load, and I choose this specific one over here, enable, apply, and okay. So basically doing this optimization that we did over here, even though these results are pretty weak, the previous trading day showed that it entered 4 trades for a profit of $700. The previous day entered 3 trades for a profit of $153. The previous one lost $800. The previous one made $1,400. Okay, so using these exact same settings that has optimized values up until the 27th, we've now gone and loaded that strategy on our trading chart. And currently today, using those exact same settings, the strategy would have entered these specific settings based on the optimization. So those are the settings that the strategy would have entered today. So you can see we started off going down. We had a few losing positions. You know, if you look at the strategy performance for the trades that would have entered today specifically, this is where we are sitting. Okay, so there's your specific trades. Okay, so you want to optimize long and short. So I don't have that at this stage. No, it's just extra coding, extra work, and how you also, you know, you might have a period of time where the market is going up, but it doesn't mean because the market is going up that only the long trades will be effective. Very often the short trades are also effective. So, I mean, it is designed to do that. Okay, so that's the analytical one strategy continuous. Now you can do the exact same thing on this with the new shadow trading strategy. Did we even cover the shadow trading strategy? Shit, we didn't get to it. Okay, I'm going to quickly cover that. Shadow trading strategy is our latest strategy that we've released. And I've been going so much into the analytical, I've actually forgotten about this one. But this one is beyond extraordinary. So the cool thing about this is you've got your shadow trading strategy now, and you can go and choose the specific days of the week, like we've discussed. You know, let's go on Sunday, just for interest sake. Let's go Sundays, Let's go over the last trading month. Let's include commissions. Let's do the max net profit. Come on. That one over there. Okay, and we want to optimize. We can choose the specific, we can choose that 6:15 to 11:59 for Sunday. Let's do the arrow count and the momentum line level. So with this one, you can also optimize for trend and reverse. Okay, so that's the cool thing with this. You can do reverse entries. So what's arrow count? 1 to 14. And momentum is, we can do 1 to 10. So these are the values that you would use for this strategy. Now, I'm going to run this first. Okay. So the good thing about this strategy is the optimizations run pretty quickly. And also, there's not too many variables in it. So we haven't added slots and things to this one yet. We're keeping it pretty simple as of right now, because it does have pretty incredible results as it stands right now. So let's just see what this optimization comes out as. And apologies for this call taking a bit longer than usual. It's just that it's better for me just to go through this and people can watch segments of it. I'll try and put time. I'll try and put some time things in here to be able to, you know, skip to certain points. So there, as an example, is the last 3 trading days up until there. So it's basically showing those specific days. So those are the trades that it entered. If you go to the chart, you know, those are the specific trades that the strategy entered, you know, based on the arrow count that you've selected. Only 3 trades, you know, so we've run that optimization. You can go run it again and you can choose to use only the arrow count. So you can say, you know, I only want to use the arrow count. What's going to come up if I just use the arrow count? And one more thing, sorry. If you're using only an arrow count, you don't have to worry about the momentum level, you see, because the momentum line level doesn't come into play if you're only using an arrow count. So the arrow count is only going to buy and sell based on the arrows that are painting on the chart. Okay, so there's 3. So those are the trades. Let's have a look at, let's try something. Let's try reverse. So we've also got trend. So let's try reverse entries only and see what comes up for reverse entries by optimizing the same period but using reverse trades. Okay, so not as good results. You'll notice that, you know, reverse trades don't automatically mean that, you know, they're going to get good results. So I just put them in there anyway, because it does work over different periods of time. Okay, so one thing I did want to mention though, that this also works very, very, very well with minute charts. So I'm going to use like a 2-minute chart on this and only use the arrow count. And see the results are a bit higher over there. Let's go to make this as false, as only using the arrow. Let's just see what else we can use over here. The leading momentum, we can try that one. Okay, so it's giving us very few trades though. So this is not going to help us too much for Sunday. But as soon as we are using different days of the week, like I'm going to just go and use all the days of the week. So I'm going to run optimization for this strategy trading every day of the week. Okay. And let's specifically use the momentum line only. So what this is going to do is it's going to optimize, and something didn't go right there. So let me just check the date and make sure I got everything right. Oh, I've got the Sunday. I've got the time. I didn't select the other slot. Excuse me. Okay, I just got to check what is going on here. So that is the 20 up until there. Okay, what is going on exactly here? Okay, entries per direction. This is where we can actually increase this. So this is what I wanted to look at. So with this specific strategy, the shadow trading strategy, you can actually have multiple entries per direction that'll act on those arrow counts. So you'll notice some will be successful. I'm just trying to get an optimization over here. Let me just do something with a data series, just so we can just see what we can find to be working over this period. So we've got minute bars. Okay, so that's minute bars. So like this one over here as an example has shown us that, okay, so the drawdowns are a bit high on here. Let's switch also to, so you've got your minute bars. You can also work on on volume bars over here too, or volume chart. So you can go from like 1,000 to 2,000 the volumes in increments of 100. Let's run that. Okay, this is still from the 31st up until the 27th. So we'll give us a moment just to load up. I'll just do this one optimization and then I put it on a trading chart and then go from there. And we can end the call on this. So we're basically seeing what has worked over the last trading month. Okay. Yeah, so this assembly is in the OneDrive folder, so it's ready immediately. Okay, so I'm going to go and save this now. So I'm going to go save this. I'm going to go template, and I'm going to go save. This is a 1,000 volume, and I'm just going to call this NQ 1000 volume. Okay, so now that I've saved that, I can actually bring up a chart over here. So I'm going to go to the strategies over here. And I'm going to remove this strategy. I'm going to add the shadow trading strategy. And I'm going to go to template, load. I'm going to load up the volume one. Okay. And before I enable it, I actually got to just change the chart to volume. So I'm going to go to volume. Come on. So I'm going to choose volume over here. So exactly what I had in the data series, and let's have a look at the range of it. So it's basically showed us from the 31st of October up until today, the volume, and I go to my strategies. Now I can load up this template. Okay, so just check if it's loaded. So template load, volume load, and enable, apply, and okay. Okay, so these are basically the trades that the strategy has entered over the last month. So looking at that, that is the specific trade, the specific trades that are entered. Now you'll notice that we don't have the indicator on the chart. So if we go and specifically add this indicator, you'll be able to see the values. So before I add the indicator, let me just increase the range of this. So it is worth mentioning too that these settings that we're putting on the chart here are including the slippage and the commissions. So I'm just going to increase the range of this so we can see the entries very clearly. So you've still got your trading hours in there. There's your entries, your specific entries. And you'll notice that they all include the slippage and the commission. So you'll see the arrows are actually there. So let's go to the performance, which showed up in the Analyzer 2. Now, this can obviously be applied to MNQ also. So you're going to run the optimization for MNQ. So don't, okay, so this basically showed a very high rise over there. So it was pretty flat to not doing too much. It actually increased, dropped a bit, raised, and then had a very active, you know, Friday. Was that Friday? Yeah, so that was a very active Friday as a trading day, as well as the Wednesday. So if you did this optimization on the Wednesday or the 23rd, applied these settings, these are the trades that would have entered on the next 2 trading days. You know, but, you know, to have picked these settings would have not been, obviously, you know, you might not have seen them as being the best settings when you ran the optimization. It's just worth mentioning that that is what would happen had these specific settings been used. Okay, and then going back to the half-hour day. So this just shows you the entry times of when trades are entering. And again, you know, the idea with this is to also add the slots in so we can optimize very specific times of the day. So we don't want to see periods like this where we have large running positions. We want to be able to cut these sections into slots, just like the analytical strategy has on it. So if I go over here, Alt and Q. So if I go over here, you know, if we have this into slots like this, you know, however the day is segmented. So this is what the analytical strategy does. It basically takes the day into different slots, and it will basically optimize values between certain slots. So we are going to get to the stage where we are able to optimize certain periods of time in between to find out which arrow settings and momentum level is best for that specific period. And then you won't have situations where you have long running positions, because the trades will exit the end of each slot, find the best setting for the next slot, exit at the end of that slot, or continue over a few slots, depending on how you've got your time set up. Or you might even decide to only have, you know, to have a larger slot to work with. So that's why you can adjust the times and stuff in the analytical strategy to give you the best results for specific times. Okay, so that is what I wanted to cover on there. I think I've got anything on there. So anybody that's on the call, I've only got a few guys left. So I've been almost an hour and a half. Really? Goodness gracious. Time flies when you're having fun, eh? Okay, so any questions, you guys can pop it through to me in the comments. I'm going to be available for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. I'm going to be away on vacation from Thursday for 2 weeks, but I'm still going to be contactable. So it's just a matter of sending me stuff, but I'm not going to be doing any more updates. So that's also why I've released quite a large update on this, because I'm not going to be doing any new updates for a few weeks. And when I do get back from vacation, I've got to update all my videos, because every single video on my website is outdated. All the training videos for the strategies are basically outdated because they all got new features now. So a lot of work to do on the back end with documentation and training videos. So that's what I'm going to focus on when I get back. And that's what we'll do. So no group call next week or the week after, but I'll update the group anyway regarding those those details. Okay, thanks guys. I shall chat to you soon and start working together with the optimizations. You know, you guys have got the Skype chat groups. You know, a few of you have joined, you know, the Skype chat groups where you've got the optimizations for the shadow trading strategy. There's also analytical strategy where people are doing optimizations. So continue sharing your templates, you know, what is working for you, and you know, that way you guys can be well supported between each other, and you know, progress with this. Okay, thank you so much, and chat to you later. Cheers.